CIST 1510, Chapter 9, we're going to look at integrating audio and video. In this chapter, we're going to look at the benefits and limitation of multimedia in the websites. We'll look at different audio and video formats, describe a plugin, look at codecs, and also understand how to create audio elements. You'll also be creating video elements. We'll look at common audio and video attributes. I'll look at source elements, how to test audio elements, video elements, and also making videos accessible. Now, with our websites, we do have the capabilities of enhancing these using audio and videos add to our websites. The multimedia that's used to enrich the user experience and also to provide interactivity with the user. And multimedia can be defined as a combination of text, images, sound, and video that's used to express an idea or convey a message. We can use videos to either publicize products, provide information, please visitors. Podcast can be also incorporated into our videos. And those are a series of audio video clips. They're released in a sequence. These are things that are becoming more and more popular form of entertainment. So we'll see an example here of a website using multimedia, how they have the, this one is TED.com, and how they have the different links to videos posted. And this is an example of using a podcast or using audio into a website. Okay, so you see that they have the podcast links here listed as well. Now, there's a couple different ways you can create multimedia files. For example, creating audio files. You can use this with a microphone. You can use it for software designed to edit digital files, such as Odyssey, which is a free open source audio editor. Or you can use a program such as Adobe Audition. You can also just use a webcam and use the microphone off the webcam. You do have to be aware of certain copyright and license requirements when working with multimedia files, so that be aware of someone else may have created that document, portions of your audio or your video. You know, if you're using those, you may have to get permission from the owner of the file or the creator of the files. Now, there are ways around this that you can use multimedia resources that can be found on the web. If you just look for public domain audio or video, these may be free of copyright restrictions. Now, when you create video files, there are multiple different ways you can create video files. You can do this through a digital camera, digital camcorder, smartphone, webcams, GoPro cameras. There are all kinds of different ways that you can create video files. You can also use programs such as this is Adobe Premiere Pro Creative Cloud. It's one of the, in my opinion, one of the best video editing programs around. So you can create your video, take it into a program, and edit the video. There are free ones available as well. Each one has their own features, and there are pros and cons for each type of video editor. Now, when we're talking about putting media into our website, we do have to decide whether we want embedded multimedia. This is going to be something that's similar to having an inline image. So this is going to be placed within our website along with the video or audio controls, and the visitors use those controls to play or stop the media. Now, external media, multimedia, is where the visitors will click on a link to access external media files. So the media is going to be displayed out of context when the web page. So let's look at, for example, here in our strike chord. So we can see that this would be an embedded audio file. And also we look at the wild rescues. You can see an example of an embedded video file. So these are placed right in our web page. That's a very short video. Now, if I was going to place an external multimedia, I would place, let's say, a link to a YouTube video. Okay, so it would take the user to the other website. Now, with media players, there are computer software that's used to play multimedia files. Plugins or browser extensions. That's extra software that's added to a browser to provide the capability that's not inherent to the browser. With HTML5 multimedia, the built-in media support was introduced through the audio and video elements. So it allowed the web developers to easily embed multimedia into HTML documents. So we can see here, in looking at the code, you see that I put in the lessons file. Okay, so I can use the audio codes to put controls in so that they are embedded. Same with the rescue. So I can use the video code so I can embed the video. This is something that was introduced with HTML5. Now you can also use Java applets. That's a small program that's completed with Java. So if the browser has installed and enabled Java, the Java applets can then be embedded within a web page. Now this is something that has declined in most modern websites. Now object elements can also be used. These are used to embed multimedia objects. You may see it more for a PDF reader. Flash players are becoming obsolete. So we put an object in, so we'll see here the example of the object element. So we start with an object tag, then we put our data with audio.wave. So that's the audio file that we are embedding in the web page. Our parameters are set to true, so that's meaning that the file is going to start playing as soon as the web page opens. Now, any audio that you put in your web page should have a distinct purpose. So it should add either value to your web page or some instructions. And you should also consider the time it's going to take for the browser to load the audio file. Now, if you're going to put an audio file in, one popular way that a website uses audio will be to provide links to the music file so the visitors can then play or download. There are some different audio file formats. The 3 audio file formats supported by HTML5 are the MP3, the OGG, and the WAV. Now you can use audio software, audio converter software that can convert files from one audio format to one of these supported formats. You can also use file compression techniques. That's going to reduce the size of the audio file, but it will also diminish the sound quality. When we're talking about file compression and codecs, codecs is a compression technology that's used to compress images, audio, and video files. It's short for code/decode. It's going to consist of an encoder and a decoder, which is going to compress and decompress the file. Does improve the load time using codecs. Once again, though, when you compress the media file too much, you are going to lose the sound quality. All right, so the audio element, that's used to define the sound. So this is where we're going to set up either our music or other audio streams. If your browser does not support the audio element, it's going to ignore the audio tag. So in there, you should be able to insert text that can alert the user that the browser will not support this. You should also put the text between the audio files. So let's look at the code again for the audio files. As you can see here, we have our sources, so we have our links. Notice we're giving it two different formats. Okay, so we're giving it two different formats here because depending on the browser used, one browser may not recognize an MP3 format, so it would go and try to play the OGG format. And we also are giving them text here saying that both of these fail, we're going to give the text that your browser does not support the audio element. And this is going to be within our audio tags. Video is something also that's going to be widely used on a lot of websites. Video should also be something that enhances rather than distracts from your website. So you want to make sure that you use the best use for your video. What is the best use for this? Once again, take into consideration load time. There are 3 video file formats that are supported by HTML5. You have an MP4, an OGG, and a WebM. Once again, you can use video converter software. You can convert a unsupported video file format to one of these supported forms. To place a video in your web page, you're going to use the video element. So you can use 3 HTML elements to incorporate videos in a web page. You can use it as an embed, an object, or a video. Now, the embed element is going to be used to embed multimedia elements in the HTML page. The video element is going to specify a video, such as a movie clip or other video stream on a web page. Once again, text should be inserted between the video tags so that the browser does not support the video element. So if the user cannot view this, you'll see once again that they have that inserted within our video tags. Once again, you'll see that they have the source tags linking the video in this. And we'll come back to the tracks. So we see an example code here that's used to insert video elements to a video file named advertisement.mp4 in a web page. Now in here we see that we can define the width and height. So this is where we're defining the size of the video player. Okay, then we're setting the controls for this. We're linking our source, so it's the top, and then we're giving the message that if your browser does not support the HTML5 video element, this will be displayed to the users. So we're setting the width of the player to 320, the height to 240 pixels, and we're also giving the user controls so they can stop, play, whatever controls we need for them to display the playbacks. We see on our web page here in the video, so I have controls listed for the page here. You see here we have controls listed in the code. All right, so these videos formats are supported by these browsers. You can see the OGG is supported by Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Opera. MP4 is supported by all 5 of the major browsers. This is something that's subject to change. As a browser updates, sometimes they stop supporting certain elements. This is true for audio, video. Recently we had Google Chrome, for example, stopped supporting Flash videos. Now you also need to make your videos accessible. So when you have somebody speaking, you have music, you want to make sure that you include the captions for someone, for those who have the hard of hearing, or hard of hearing, or those that are may need to read along. So the captions are text that appear at the bottom portion of a video. So we see an example of the captions located here. All right, so the caption text is going to be known as Q text. It's going to display the words being spoken in the video or describe the sounds in the video. To create captions, you will use the web VTT format that stands for web video text track, and it's the W3C standard for used to create captions for video content. Now, when you do this, the file is going to be created with a text editor, and it's going to be saved with the extension of .vtt. The HTML track element is used to insert the caption file within a web page. As we see the example here. So we're using this case here, we're using the captions.vtt, and we're using the track tag. Also make sure that we put the link to the file, the description, language, labels, and so forth, so that when the file is played, we have the options here to turn on the captions. This may not work because I have not created that file. And this is not something you will be doing in your lesson this week. All right, so the end of chapter 9. Is we've looked at how to integrate audio and video elements within our web page using the HTML5 audio and video elements. You can also use CSS styles to format video for all the viewports. And you also want to make sure that your video is accessible. Now, one of the quick ways to make a video, add captions to a video, is to upload the video to YouTube. YouTube has got a pretty good captioning system. They will caption the video, and then you can embed it into your web page.